What if I told you that one of Indonesia's most important historical regions is not Jakarta, not Surabaya, and not even Makassar? What if I told you that a land many people only remember because of a devastating earthquake was once one of the busiest trading gateways in Southeast Asia? A place where Chinese navigators arrived centuries before modern Indonesia existed. A place where Dutch merchants, powerful sultanates, and local kingdoms fought to control its strategic coastline. A place whose history stretches back more than 600 years. This is not simply another regency on the map. This is Donggala, a land of resilience, a land of forgotten glory, a land whose story deserves to be remembered by the world. Because to understand Donggala is to understand an important chapter in the history of Indonesia itself. On the western coastline of central Sulawesi lies Donggala Regency, a remarkable region covering approximately 5,275 square kilometers and home to more than 310,000 people as of 2024. Its capital is Banawa district. Donggala is the 7th largest regency in central Sulawesi by area, the 4th most densely populated, and the 4th most populous in the province. Administratively, it consists of 16 districts and 166 villages and urban communities. Its geography is unlike almost anywhere else in Indonesia. The regency surrounds Palu city, effectively wrapping around the provincial capital while stretching along the western coast facing the vast Makassar Strait. To the east lies Parigi Mutong. To the north stands Tolitoli. To the south is Sigi. To the west, the endless waters of the Makassar Strait connect Donggala to the wider maritime world. This strategic position would define its destiny for centuries, long before maps became accurate and satellites revealed every coastline. Traders already knew this place. The name Donggala itself has appeared in historical records under several different spellings. French literature referred to it as Dungali. A map drawn in 1805 by British cartographer David Woodard recorded this name. Even earlier, in 1611, Dutch cartographer Lodocus Hondius labelled the region as Durate. Chinese historical records called it Tun Chia La. Meanwhile, local communities believe the name originated from the Donggala tree that once grew abundantly across the region. Different civilizations, different languages, different spellings, yet all refer to the same remarkable land. Donggala's importance stretches back to at least the 15th century. Chinese navigation records describe this region as an active maritime port as early as the 1430s. Ships carrying copra, damar resin, candle nuts, and cattle regularly passed through its harbour. This was not an isolated fishing village. It was a thriving commercial centre connecting the islands of the Indonesian archipelago with international trade routes. At the heart of this prosperity stood the Kingdom of Banawa. Its rulers governed a region blessed with fertile lands, abundant forests, and a strategic coastline that attracted merchants from across Asia. Trade created wealth, wealth attracted power, and power inevitably attracted foreign ambitions. When European colonial expansion reached Southeast Asia, Donggala became impossible to ignore. In 1667, the Dutch East India Company, known as the VOC, signed the Banawa Treaty. This agreement marked one of the earliest formal Dutch political and economic footholds in the region. For the VOC, Donggala was far more than a coastal settlement. It became a strategic midpoint along the Makassar Strait, one of the most vital sea lanes connecting Makassar in the south with Manado in the north. Whoever controlled Donggala controlled a significant section of maritime commerce. That made it one of the most valuable ports in eastern Indonesia. the Dutch strengthened their grip over time. By 1888, under the Long Declaration, Donggala became an exclusive route for the Royal Packet Navigation Company, better known as KPM. Its shipping corridor became officially designated as Route 14. Steamships regularly entered the harbour, carrying goods, passengers, officials, and military supplies. The port transformed into one of the busiest economic centres in central Sulawesi. The world came to Donggala, and Donggala connected Indonesia to the world. Yet colonial ambitions were never uncontested. Donggala stood at the crossroads of competing regional powers. The Sultanate of Ternate sought influence. The Kingdom of Goa viewed the area as strategically essential. The Bugis Kingdom of Bone also recognized its importance. For centuries, Donggala became a prize in the struggle for dominance over eastern Indonesian trade routes. Political alliances shifted, empires rose, empires declined. But Donggala remained valuable because geography never changes. There was even an old colonial saying that reflected the region's isolation, despite its strategic value. Officials joked that it was easier to reach Europe from Manado than it was to travel overland from Manado to Donggala. It was an exaggeration, yet it revealed the logistical challenges of governing central Sulawesi during the colonial era. Despite difficult transportation, Donggala remained economically indispensable. By the early 20th century, prosperity reached new heights. The copra boom between 1920 and 1939 transformed Donggala into one of Indonesia's busiest export centres. Ships departed carrying coconut products, forest resources, and agricultural commodities. Merchants filled the harbour. Warehouses expanded. Trade networks flourished. For a generation, Donggala stood among the most dynamic commercial ports in the region. Then history changed once again. Japanese occupation replaced Dutch colonial rule during the Second World War. Soon after came Indonesia's struggle for independence. Another chapter began. Before Dutch military conquest in 1904, the wider Donggala region was not ruled by a single centralized authority. Instead, it consisted of several independent kingdoms. Among them were the Kingdom of Palu, the Kingdom of Sigidolo, the Kingdom of Kulawi, the Kingdom of Biromaru, the Kingdom of Banawa, the Kingdom of Tawaili, and the Kingdom of Mautong. Each possessed its own traditions, leadership, and political identity. Over time, colonial administration reorganized these kingdoms into districts that later formed the foundation of modern local government. Following Indonesian independence, Donggala entered a new era. Government Regulation No. 33 of 1952 officially established Donggala Regency on August 12th, a date that remains its annual anniversary. Initially, its territory included what are now several separate regencies. As Indonesia developed, administrative boundaries evolved. Toli Toli became its own regency in 1953. Later, additional regions were created through further administrative expansion. In 1999, the regency capital officially moved from Palu back to Donggala itself, approximately 34 kilometers away. This decision reaffirmed Donggala's own administrative identity after decades of change. Nature has blessed Donggala with extraordinary beauty. Its coastline stretches beside the shimmering Makassar Strait. Tropical forests cover much of its interior. The climate remains warm throughout the year, with temperatures generally ranging from 23 to 33 degrees Celsius. Consistent rainfall nourishes fertile landscapes that support agriculture, fisheries, and biodiversity. Crossing the equator, Donggala enjoys the lush characteristics of an equatorial tropical climate. It is a place where mountains meet the sea, where sunsets paint the horizon in brilliant shades of gold and crimson, where generations have built their lives beside the ocean. Yet one moment forever changed how much of the world remembers Donggala. On September 28, 2018, at 6:02 in the evening local time, a magnitude 7.4 earthquake struck Donggala, Palu, and surrounding areas. The earthquake triggered destructive tsunami waves and widespread liquefaction that devastated entire communities. Thousands of lives were lost, families were separated, homes disappeared within minutes, infrastructure collapsed. The tragedy shocked Indonesia and captured international attention. But Donggala's identity cannot be reduced to one disaster. Its story is much larger. Its history is much deeper. Its people are much stronger. Every generation of Donggala has faced challenges: colonial conquest, political transformation, economic change, natural disasters. Yet each generation has chosen to rebuild instead of surrender. That resilience defines Donggala more than any tragedy ever could. Because history does not remember places simply for what happened to them. History remembers places for how they responded. And Donggala continues to rise. Today, Donggala represents both Indonesia's extraordinary past and its limitless future. It is a region where ancient kingdoms, international trade, colonial history, maritime heritage, breathtaking landscapes, and remarkable resilience come together in one place. Many travelers pass through central Sulawesi without realizing the incredible legacy waiting just beyond the horizon. But those who truly explore Indonesia discover something different. They discover that some of the nation's greatest stories are hidden far from its biggest cities. Donggala is one of those stories. It is not merely a destination, it is a living reminder that history often begins at the coastline, that resilience can outlast catastrophe, and that even after centuries of conflict, change, and unimaginable hardship, the spirit of a people can never be conquered. This is Donggala, not forgotten, not defeated, still standing, still inspiring, still watching over the western shores of Sulawesi, exactly as it has for centuries. For centuries, the sea has been Donggala's greatest advantage. Standing on the shores of the Makassar Strait, it is impossible not to appreciate why so many civilizations valued this coastline. Every sunrise illuminated one of the busiest maritime corridors in the Indonesian archipelago. Every tide carried vessels loaded with spices, forest products, coconut oil, resin, timber, and countless other commodities that connected Sulawesi with the wider world. The Makassar Strait is not just a body of water separating islands. It is one of Southeast Asia's most significant maritime highways. Long before container ships and modern ports, wooden sailing vessels crossed these waters, carrying merchants, explorers, diplomats, and sailors from distant kingdoms. Donggala became one of the gateways where cultures met, where ideas were exchanged, and where economic prosperity flourished. Its position was never accidental. Geography made Donggala important. History confirmed it. Even today, the same strategic coastline continues to offer enormous opportunities for fisheries, maritime transportation, tourism, and coastal development. The sea that sustained generations in the past continues to provide hope for generations yet to come. But Donggala is not defined only by its coastline. Venture inland and another extraordinary landscape unfolds. Rolling hills gradually rise into rugged mountains. Dense tropical forests shelter countless species of plants and wildlife. Rivers carve their way through fertile valleys, before eventually reaching the sea. This remarkable diversity of landscapes has supported local communities for centuries. Farmers cultivate fertile land nourished by equatorial rainfall. Fishermen venture into productive coastal waters before dawn. Small villages continue traditions passed from one generation to the next. Life here moves in harmony with nature. The rhythm of the seasons shapes everyday existence. The ocean provides, the forests protect, the land sustains. Together, they form the foundation of Donggala's identity. Across its 16 districts, every community contributes its own traditions, customs, dialects, and cultural heritage. Indonesia is often celebrated as one of the world's most culturally diverse nations. Donggala is a perfect reflection of that diversity. Its people have inherited the legacies of ancient kingdoms, maritime traders, indigenous communities, and centuries of cultural interaction. This rich heritage is expressed through ceremonies, music, traditional dances, craftsmanship, architecture, and local wisdom that continue to survive despite the rapid pace of modernization. Culture here is not preserved inside museums. It lives in everyday life. It is spoken through local languages. It is celebrated during festivals. It is remembered through oral traditions shared by elders. It is carried forward by younger generations, determined to protect their identity. That determination has become one of Donggala's greatest strengths. Because preserving culture is not about resisting progress. It is about ensuring that progress never erases the wisdom of the past. Like many regions across Indonesia, Donggala continues to evolve. Roads improve connectivity. Schools educate the next generation. Healthcare services continue expanding. Agriculture and fisheries adopt better technology. Local entrepreneurs create new opportunities. Tourism slowly reveals hidden destinations that have remained largely undiscovered by international visitors. Each improvement represents another step toward a stronger future. Development is not measured only by buildings. It is measured by opportunity, by education, by innovation, by the dreams young people are finally able to pursue. For many families in Donggala, the greatest investment is no longer found in natural resources alone. It is found in human potential. Every child attending school, every university graduate returning home, every entrepreneur starting a small business, every fisherman improving his livelihood, every farmer embracing new methods. Together, these individual stories become the larger story of progress. Yet perhaps the greatest lesson Donggala offers the world is resilience. Resilience is often misunderstood. People think resilience means never falling, but Donggala teaches something different. Resilience means finding the courage to rise every single time life knocks you down. Its history has never been easy. Foreign powers sought control, political systems changed, administrative boundaries shifted, economic fortunes rose and fell. Natural disasters tested every community. Still, life continued. Children laughed again, schools reopened, markets became busy once more. Fishing boats returned to sea, farmers planted new harvests, families rebuilt their homes, hope returned, one day at a time. That quiet determination rarely makes international headlines, but it deserves admiration because true strength is often silent. It is found in ordinary people choosing not to give up. Standing in Donggala today, you are standing where centuries of history unfolded, where kingdoms once ruled, where global trade once flourished, where colonial empires competed for influence, where generations refused to surrender to hardship. Every coastline holds memories, every village preserves stories, Every mountain watches over a remarkable past, and every new sunrise reminds its people that tomorrow always brings another opportunity to build something better than yesterday. Perhaps that is why places like Donggala matter so much, not because they seek attention, not because they compete with famous destinations, but because they remind us that the true heart of a nation is often found far away from its largest cities. It lives in communities that quietly preserve their traditions. It survives through people whose courage is rarely celebrated. It grows stronger through every challenge overcome. Donggala is one of those places. Its history is not finished, its future is still being written, and perhaps the greatest chapters have not even happened yet. As Indonesia continues moving forward into a new era, Donggala stands ready to contribute once again, not only as a witness to history, but as an active part of the nation's future. Its strategic location, its resilient people, its rich cultural heritage, its extraordinary natural beauty, its long maritime legacy. Together, they form something far greater than statistics on a map. They form the enduring spirit of a region that has shaped Indonesia for centuries and still has countless stories waiting to be discovered by the world. Because some places become famous through popularity, others become unforgettable through perseverance. Donggala belongs to the second story, and that is exactly why its legacy will continue to inspire generations to come. There is another remarkable truth about Donggala that deserves far more recognition. Its story reflects the story of Indonesia itself, an archipelago built by the sea, a nation shaped by trade, a civilization strengthened through diversity. Long before modern borders existed, the waters surrounding Donggala connected communities rather than separated them. Sailors navigated by the stars, traders relied on seasonal winds, knowledge traveled from island to island long before roads connected the interior. Every arriving ship carried more than cargo. It carried new languages, new technologies, new beliefs, new friendships, new opportunities. That constant exchange helped shape the character of the people who call this region home, open to the world, yet deeply rooted in their own traditions. Throughout history, Donggala has demonstrated that true strength does not come from isolation, it comes from connection, the ability to welcome change without losing identity, to embrace progress without forgetting heritage, to look toward the future while honoring the past. These are values that remain just as important today as they were hundreds of years ago. As Indonesia continues to grow into one of the world's largest economies, regions like Donggala will play an increasingly important role. Its western coastline faces one of the busiest maritime corridors on Earth. Millions of tons of cargo pass through nearby sea lanes every year, linking the Pacific and Indian Oceans through the Indonesian archipelago. Strategic geography that once attracted wooden sailing ships now attracts modern commercial vessels carrying goods across continents. The world continues to move through these waters, and Donggala remains part of that journey. Beyond maritime trade, the Regency possesses abundant natural resources that support local livelihoods. Its fertile landscapes produce agricultural commodities that have sustained communities for generations. Its coastal waters provide rich fishing grounds that continue to feed families and strengthen local economies. The surrounding environment also offers remarkable biodiversity, reminding us that economic development and environmental conservation must move forward together. Protecting nature is not simply about preserving beautiful scenery. It is about protecting the very foundation upon which future generations will build their lives. This balance between development and sustainability will define Donggala's future. The choices made today will shape the opportunities available tomorrow. Infrastructure continues to improve, education continues to expand, digital technology reaches communities that were once geographically isolated. Young people now have access to knowledge, innovation, and global opportunities unimaginable only a generation ago. Yet no matter how much technology transforms society, one truth remains unchanged. A community is only as strong as the values passed from one generation to the next. Respect, integrity, hard work, mutual cooperation, perseverance. These principles have guided the people of Donggala through centuries of uncertainty. They remain just as relevant in the 21st century. Every child growing up here inherits more than a hometown. They inherit centuries of courage. Every teacher passing on knowledge contributes to a legacy much larger than a classroom. Every fisherman leaving before sunrise continues a tradition older than many nations. Every farmer planting seeds carries forward generations of wisdom about living in harmony with the land. These ordinary moments create extraordinary history because history is not written only by kings, presidents, or generals. It is written by ordinary people making extraordinary choices every single day. The choice to work, the choice to rebuild, the choice to help neighbours, the choice to believe in a better future. Those choices define Donggala far more than any historical document ever could. Visitors who come to this region often discover something unexpected. They may arrive looking for beautiful coastlines. They leave remembering the warmth of its people. Hospitality has always been one of Indonesia's greatest strengths, and Donggala reflects that spirit with quiet sincerity. Conversations begin with smiles. Guests are welcomed with genuine kindness. Communities remain closely connected through shared traditions and mutual support. These human connections cannot be measured in statistics, yet they represent one of the greatest treasures any region can possess. In a rapidly changing world, places like Donggala remind us of something essential. Progress should never come at the cost of humanity. Economic growth matters, infrastructure matters, technology matters, but compassion matters just as much. Communities become truly prosperous not only when incomes rise, but when people continue caring for one another. That spirit has carried Donggala through triumph and tragedy alike. It will continue carrying the region into the future. Looking ahead, Donggala stands before enormous possibilities. Its strategic location, its maritime heritage, its natural beauty, its cultural diversity, its resilient communities. Together, these strengths create a foundation for sustainable development that can benefit generations to come. The next chapter of Donggala will not simply be written by governments or institutions. It will be written by students chasing ambitious dreams, by entrepreneurs creating innovative businesses, by fishermen adapting to changing oceans, by farmers embracing sustainable agriculture, by artists preserving cultural traditions, by every citizen determined to leave their community stronger than they found it. That is how lasting progress is built. One decision, one family, one community, one generation at a time. When the world looks at Donggala, it should not see only a point on a map. It should see centuries of determination. It should see the crossroads of civilizations. It should see a community that has endured wars, colonialism, political transformation, economic change, and natural disasters without losing its identity. Most importantly, it should see hope, because hope is the greatest resource any nation can possess. Natural resources may one day be exhausted, buildings may eventually grow old, even great empires fade into history, but hope has the power to rebuild everything. And in Donggala, hope continues to rise with every sunrise over the Makassar Strait, reminding the world that the strongest places are not those that never face hardship, but those that refuse to let hardship define who they are. That is the spirit of Donggala, a spirit shaped by history, strengthened by resilience, guided by unity, and destined to continue inspiring Indonesia and the world for generations still to come. As the sun slowly disappears beyond the horizon of the Makassar Strait, the waters surrounding Donggala become calm once again. Fishing boats return home after hours at sea. Children play along the shoreline. The evening call to prayer echoes across villages that have stood for generations. Life moves with quiet confidence. It is easy to overlook moments like these, yet they reveal something extraordinary. Greatness is not always loud. Sometimes greatness is found in ordinary people living with extraordinary perseverance. Perhaps that is why Donggala has endured for so long. Its strength has never depended solely on wealth or military power. Its greatest strength has always been its people. Generation after generation, they have adapted to changing times while protecting the values that define their communities. They understand something that history repeatedly teaches. Civilizations rise because of people, and they decline when people forget who they are. Donggala has refused to forget. Its identity has survived through oral traditions passed from grandparents to grandchildren. Its customs remain alive through ceremonies that celebrate community, gratitude, and mutual respect. Its connection to the sea continues to shape daily life, just as it did hundreds of years ago. Even in an era dominated by satellites, smartphones, and artificial intelligence, the rhythm of nature still guides much of life here. The tides still determine when fishermen sail. The seasons still influence harvests. The winds still carry the same salty air that once filled the sails of merchants arriving from distant kingdoms. Time moves forward, yet some things remain beautifully constant. This continuity gives Donggala a unique place within Indonesia. It is both a guardian of history and a participant in the nation's future. Across Indonesia, conversations increasingly focus on sustainable development, regional connectivity, environmental protection, and economic resilience. Donggala has an important role in each of these areas. Its coastline provides opportunities for responsible marine industries. Its agricultural land supports food security. Its natural landscapes hold significant potential for ecotourism. Its cultural heritage offers experiences that cannot be replicated anywhere else. Travel today is no longer only about seeing beautiful places. People seek authentic stories. They want meaningful experiences. They want to understand how local communities live, preserve traditions, and shape their future. Donggala offers exactly that. It invites visitors not only to admire its scenery, but to appreciate the lives of the people who have cared for this land for centuries. Imagine standing on a quiet beach as fishing boats disappear into the morning mist. Imagine walking through villages where traditions remain part of everyday life, rather than performances created for tourists. Imagine watching the sun set over one of the world's great maritime corridors, while realizing that countless sailors witnessed the same horizon hundreds of years before you. That is the magic of Donggala. It connects the present with the past in ways that few places can. Every destination has landmarks. Some have famous monuments. Others have iconic skylines. Donggala possesses something less visible, but far more enduring. It possesses memory. Memory preserved in its coastlines. Memory carried by its communities. memory embedded within landscapes that have witnessed centuries of change. Those memories remind us that history is not frozen inside books. History surrounds us. It lives in the places we protect. It speaks through the traditions we preserve. It survives because ordinary people choose to remember. In many ways, Donggala challenges us to reconsider how we measure importance. Is a place important because it has the tallest buildings? Because it attracts the largest crowds? Because it dominates international headlines? Or is true importance found in the quiet contributions that shape a nation's identity across generations? Donggala may never seek the spotlight, yet its influence reaches far beyond its borders. Its harbour once connected international trade. Its strategic location shaped colonial policy. Its people contributed to the cultural mosaic that defines Indonesia today. Its resilience has become an example of courage in the face of unimaginable adversity. These achievements deserve recognition, not for the sake of pride alone, but because understanding places like Donggala helps us understand Indonesia more completely. Every province tells part of the national story. Every regency adds another chapter. Every community contributes another voice. Together, those voices create one of the richest civilizations on Earth. Indonesia is often described as a nation of thousands of islands, but it is also a nation of thousands of stories. Donggala is one of its most remarkable. It is the story of ancient kingdoms that welcomed traders from across Asia. It is the story of strategic ports that connected distant civilizations. It is the story of communities that endured colonialism, conflict, political transition, and natural disasters with unwavering determination. Most of all, it is the story of hope. Hope that survives every generation. Hope that inspires every child to dream beyond today's limitations. Hope that reminds us the future is never determined solely by the hardships of the past. As long as people continue believing in tomorrow, there will always be another opportunity to build, to create, and to inspire. So the next time someone mentions Donggala, remember that they are not speaking only about a regency in central Sulawesi. They are speaking about one of Indonesia's historic maritime gateways. They are speaking about centuries of trade that connected islands and civilizations. They are speaking about a community whose resilience has become stronger than any challenge it has faced. They are speaking about a place where history is not simply remembered, history is still being made. And perhaps, somewhere along the shores of the Makassar Strait, another young dreamer is looking toward the horizon, believing that the next great chapter of Donggala has only just begun. Because the greatest legacy any place can leave behind is not found in stone monuments or forgotten records. It is found in the people who carry its story forward. As long as those stories continue to be told, Donggala will never fade into history. It will continue to inspire. It will continue to endure, and it will continue to remind the world that some of humanity's greatest treasures are not discovered by chance. They are discovered by those willing to look beyond the obvious and listen to the echoes of history that still whisper across the shores of Donggala.